The world abounds in change through man's ability.
Oh, it was because I read on Spotify in the summary, because I was like, what do they have to say about Black Sabbath? Too much. It was way too much, and I did not read most of it. But I got to the point where it mentioned that their band name was originally something really stupid when they were like a 5-bar blues band. Yeah. But like, they changed it when they decided to start going in a heavier direction to Earth. Which they changed because there was another band in the UK called The Earth who had put out one single. So they changed their name, and then The Earth became Earth, put out one more single, and broke up. But I was on their Wikipedia page to see, I think, if there was any recordings from when they were called Earth. And there aren't, but just reading through the rest of the page, it was talking about, the different eras of the band. And under the heading for Master of Reality and Number 4, or was it Volume 4? Number 4 is Stone Temple Pilots, I think. That's a weird mix-up. It was talking about the reviews at the time for Master of Reality, and they specifically said that the song Children of the Grave was like lackluster and uninspired. It really caught me off guard.
There's like no frame of reference for those people though. But uninspired is not
uninspired
for something so unique,
right? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's an entire genre of music based on that song at this point. So like,
yeah, that is weird.
Maybe that's what I'll put on for the drive home tonight.
Sabbath. Oh yeah. Listened through all of what was the first Dio Sabbath album? Was it Heaven and Hell?
I think so.
That sounds right to me.
The one with Children of the Sea on it.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't given the Dio era, like, a real good listen. But what I have heard, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind the big songs from the Dio era. So, like, that, Heaven and Hell, the other one.
It's
most of the Dio songs I can think of are either Dio or Rainbow.
Rainbow.
So, like, yeah, I listened to that whole album, and most of it, like the songs I wasn't already familiar with, also not my
honestly
thing.
It feels like at that point they just became another metal band.
Yeah, sort of.
You know, like it's not. I mean, like
they've been doing it for like over a decade.
Yeah, and then everybody else was doing that same way. It's not like I don't even know if there's a comparison, but like, you know,
there were enough other acts in the scene at that point that like they just kind of sounded like them.
Yeah, and like I don't know. It's a lot like the Ramones put out an album that eventually just sounded like every other pop punk band in the 90s, you know, or whenever, because they broke in 94. Was that their final tour, or was it earlier?
I don't know. I thought it was a little bit later.
Was it really?
I think it was like 94 because it was right. Like, I didn't, like, get into punk and then be like, oh, man, I just missed the Ramones. Mm-hmm. But, like, eventually I was like, oh, that was right before I got into punk. I think Adios was, like... That tour was, like, 94, I think.
Huh.
For some reason, then 93, 94.
Maybe they put that out and then broke up a little later after it became apparent that they weren't going to do anymore.
Adios was 95.
95, okay, yeah.
We're Out of Here was released in 97. And it was recorded in 96.
Yeah.
And
that
then
sounds
We're
about
Going
okay.
Home was 2000.
We just got home.
And then We Don't Want to Play With You Anymore.
Yeah.
Was,
We can't stand each other. Yeah, I thought it's pretty late, but it's not like then. It's not like the Ramones put out a record. They put out Adios Amigos, but it sounded just like Green Day.
yeah.
And that's kind of
yeah.
what that era of Sabbath is to me. It's like, yeah, it's technically Black Sabbath, but they just
It's
sound like
everybody
every.
but Ozzy, but
And I don't even know that Ozzy was that big of a thing.
Well, that's
It's like
the
musically,
thing.
it just kind of sounds.
like
The
yeah.
same.
So everybody that was in the band was the same,
Yeah.
except for Ozzy got replaced by Dio. But like the whole sound changed.
Yeah.
Possibly to accommodate Dio's like wildly different vocal style, but
Or it was just more commercial. To be honest, honestly, I don't know.
well, the Wikipedia page that I recently read, which makes me an expert on the
Yeah,
subject
right.
now, was talking about how there were several people that were trying to get Ozzy to rejoin Sabbath, even though he was fired and it wasn't his choice to leave. He left and then came back, and they recorded that one more album that was, let's be honest, not good. What was that? It was one with the like red and blue ugly ass
man,
cover
I don't know.
with
That's
like
forgettable.
the demon baby on
That's
it.
so
It was
forgettable.
So bad, dude.
That's so forgettable. I mean, honestly, for me, it's the first four, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Pretty much, yeah. Not even pretty much, yeah.
It's like the first four, and that demo cut or whatever of The Shining that Bruce introduced us to.
I don't think I even really remember that. I think it is just literally the first four for me.
Yeah, it's the dude that was going to be their singer, but then for whatever reason didn't, and then Dio came in. Mm-hmm. And Bruce was always like, "This guy's a way better
Wait,
singer."
there's a recording of it? Oh, it was like a live show, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever
I
that
think he
recording
played
of
with
The
them.
Shining, that song's the tits. But other than that, it's the first four.
It actually kind of bummed me out when I was reading the article, because they were talking about the other dude came in and like wrote a lot of lyrics, and but he said that he had run into Ozzy at a bar and talked to him for a little while, and he didn't get the impression that Ozzy was like that committed to leaving the band.
Yeah.
So he was like prepared to walk if Ozzy wanted to come back. And that's what happened. And then Ozzy was like, I'm not going to sing his shit.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, but like we go into the studio like today. So what are we going to do when we're in the studio? And he's like, I don't know, we'll come up with something. So like they said they were writing songs at night, the night before, and then practicing in the morning, and then going to record in the evening. And yeah, that's how you come up with a shitty album.
Yeah. Jeez.
He was Dave Walker,
Yeah.
which is not a very metal name.
No,
I knew a guy named Dave Walker.
not metal.
I knew Dave Walker too.
Yeah.
Was that Dave Walker metal?
He was kind of a dick, huh?
Dick. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I mean, we bonded because we were like stuck sitting in the back of a class next to each other at one point, and we both liked like ICP and Rammstein. If that gives you any idea.
Gotcha.
No, I had I think it was a math class with him. It was business math, I think.
That makes sense.
And it was after he'd already decided he was going to the army or whichever one.
Yeah.
So he was just an absolute fucking tool. It was always like, oh, you like NoFX, you're one of the faggot punk rockers.
Yep, we're just sucking dicks over here, buddy.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
all we're doing. Just sucking dicks.
That's not my own personal use of the word.
Right.
That was his use. That was his phrasing.
Like, all right.
Yeah. He said that, and Josh is like, no, why would you say that? Like, no.
Look, you're not going to be the first boy in this school to see my asshole.
Probably not the last.
But you are the next. I wouldn't be surprised if he decided he was going to join the Marines and ended up in the Army.
Is that where you get
Just
thrown
saying.
when you can't do Marines?
I think it's just where you might end up.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't hack it for the Marines, you're like, well, I still want to join the military.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'll go join the Army.
I think it depends which branch you ask, because every branch, according to themselves, is always like the smart one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know you can just leave basic training if you can't do it?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. I thought like you were fucking.
You were like under contract.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend that he was just like, yeah, I couldn't.
It's
do
usually depicted that way in movies.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like,
I thought that was like, fuck you. You're gonna make through basic.
You gotta like ring the cancer bell before you go.
the cancer bell?
Yeah, you like when you get your last chemo, you ring the bell,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Yeah, don't die."
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but isn't that how it works in like
The
Private
Army.
Jane 2 or whatever? GI Jane. Didn't they want her to ring a bell or something?
I never watched yet. You watched it because there might be titties, didn't you?
Probably.
And you're like, shit, this ain't Tank Girl.
I never watched
No,
G.I. Jane.
I already had striptease by that point.
I don't know if I've ever seen G.I. Jane,
I know
actually.
that I haven't.
Was it decent?
I had no idea.
Oh.
I think it was up for like awards.
You were just
way back
skimming for the
when.
titties.
No, I don't know if I ever
Speed
actually
running for
watched it.
titties.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
I feel like that's a movie my mom would have watched. Probably my stepdad too, because like, that 90s army movies, man.
Yeah, like in the
That's
army
the
now.
wheelhouse.
In the army now. That's all he showed.
My stepdad would have watched that. My stepdad loved dumb movies.
Stripes wasn't 90s, was it?
Nah, it was 80s.
That was like pre-Ghostbusters, the
Yeah.
80s, I think.
Hey, did you guys know the world's gonna end tomorrow? According to Ghostbusters.
Tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed
Oh,
to have
Ghostbusters 2, I should say.
we were supposed to have the Bell riots last year, according to Star Trek.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, much to our disappointment. Casey has like a bumper sticker for that. It literally looks like a campaign sticker that says Bell Riots 2024.
What are the Bell riots in Star Trek?
They're
I know it's a Star Trek thing, but I don't know anything about it.
they're sort of the like popular uprising against the treatment of poor people in Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
In Star
shit.
Trek history. Yeah. No, there was a lot of parallels going on to the Star Trek timeline. So people were like, what's supposed to happen in 2024 is the Bell riots and the reunification of Northern Ireland and Ireland. I didn't have it either.
Unfortunately, the poor people are the ones who just ushered in.
Yeah, they
the
rose
dick
up.
to fuck
They
them.
rose up just against themselves.
My God.
So, someone took a picture of himself standing next to $16 eggs. Someone who I know for a fact voted in.
Voted for the eggs.
Yeah. They voted for RFK and Donald Trump because of the eggs, because of the red number 2 or whatever. And now they got their $16 eggs.
I just love that somebody actually made Trump say out loud that he wasn't going to do anything about the grocery prices, even though that's
That was it.
that's how he won.
Yeah.
And do you remember, I don't know if you've ever seen them, the little stickers that people were putting on the gas pumps of Joe Biden?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen them.
That said, I did this.
Yeah.
Those are all, maybe not over here in Metropolitan Mechanicsburg, but
Oh, I saw one.
over
here in
my way,
Mechanicsburg,
they
yeah.
are on everything.
the Trump ones or the Biden ones.
The Biden ones.
Well, people started.
Yeah, I
making
knew that
Trump
was happening.
ones,
I knew that. I saw that was happening.
putting them in the dairy aisle with the eggs and shit.
And like the painful part about watching the discourse online is we've gone right back to whataboutism.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like, you voted to get these eggs down, right? Yeah, but what about Biden and Hunter's laptop? What?
Wow,
That never bothered me.
That's an
Never
excellent,
bothered me at all.
It's an excellent retort,
Yeah.
sir.
You know what?
I don't
Even
know
if
why
he
I
was
didn't anticipate you
fucking-
saying that.
Fucking guilty of whatever you think he was didn't bother me at all. Because I care about goddamn eggs.
Welcome to Foulcast, by the way.
Yeah, I'm Ken.
I'm Josh.
Doug.
I am Hunter Biden's spent Coke baggie. Oh man, it's
The terror that flaps in the night.
The faps in the night.
Oh, occasionally.
The horror of the faps in the night. It's not much different, but so much worse.
It's like a Lovecraftian entity,
yeah.
but all it does is masturbate.
you wake up and you see like a swirling galaxy of ooze in the corner of your room. Just Yog. Stop pulling on it, it'll grow on its own.
You're gonna go blind.
Stop pulling that one too. All of them.
No, you can't grow another one and pull that one.
You know, you probably could. I doubt the rules of anything confine him.
No,
It.
not so much. Yeah, it, them, he, they.
That reminds me. It's past couple weeks, my latest show. 'Cause I think I've gone over like I've tried several shows and I just can't like get buckled down with anything. I gave Reservation Dogs a try on a whim. That is an amazing
Is it?
show.
Is
Yeah?
it?
Oh, I absolutely loved it.
I like the trailers that I saw. It's just reservation life. I don't know. The trailers didn't really tell me much about it, but I was like, you know what, that seems interesting, and I like the cast, but like all the Native Americans in Hollywood it's always the same Native Americans. So like they've got
Half of them aren't actually Native American.
I think they all are now. This group, I'm pretty sure this group are.
Yeah.
And then everybody, the tokenism is like, okay, we'll get real ones, and then we'll be woke and we'll use real native. I don't know. You know how Hollywood gets sometimes. But I like all the people that are in it because we watched Longmire, and
Yeah, that's where
that's where
Dig's
a lot.
from.
Yeah, a lot of them are from Longmire, and that was pretty good. And then I don't know. Watch a lot of shows with cowboy-ish people. Not Yellowstone, though. Fucking hate Yellowstone.
I don't know anything about it.
It's terrible.
my dad loved
Yeah.
those shows.
Yeah.
And then they took like 2 years off, and Kevin Costner was like, I want more time off, so they killed him.
That's what you get.
His characters never change, and it drives me up the fucking wall.
Kevin Costner makes me think of Kevin Bacon.
Don't do
Not
that.
Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
Not Kevin Bacon. Patrick Swayze. I don't know that I knew he died.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
years
Like a
ago.
while
Cancer,
ago,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, cancer.
Somebody mentioned something about, like, before he died. Like, reference Patrick Swayze, like, before he died, like, as a joke. And I'm like, wait, no. So I Googled Patrick Swayze, and just the summary in the search results on the Wikipedia page says Patrick Swayze was. What? Oh.
No, I brought that up because you mentioned the pronouns, and
Oh, right.
the one kid in it, he always introduced himself like, hi, my name's Cheese, my pronouns are he, him, his. And
No matter what the situation.
Yeah. The clips I'd seen of it, and even like the show itself says it's a comedy. And
Doesn't look like it.
there
though.
are funny things that happen, but like really it's just kind of like a coming of age Native American story.
Okay.
Like there's heavy shit in it. There's funny shit, but It's a lot.
It's hard to describe as a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a skateboarding thing at first.
Is it?
Then
With the dogs.
with the dogs, yeah, I guess, I don't know. And then I saw it was just Native Americans on the reservation. And the trailers, I think things that interest me, because they didn't really show anything. It was just that. It was just like, here's just some people fucking around.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the show's going to be. And just because they didn't tell you anything about it, really,
Lost
I
interest.
thought that was intriguing. I just never watched it. I never tried to watch it, but it was one of those things where I was like, I like that they're doing that. There might be more to it.
It's kind of focused around the four kids. Yeah, four kids. I mean, they're... I guess in the show, they just kind of graduated school.
Okay.
So it's focused around them and their friend who had killed himself. So the first season's like a lot of dealing with that, and you see like how that death affected other people in the community. So there is a comedic aspect to things because life goes on, but you still have these heavy undertones that are like all throughout the series. And it's a relatively short one. It's only like 3 seasons, like 8 to 10 episodes a season.
And they actually like finished the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
nice when that
It's
happens.
more you can ask for normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I don't think we have that one, so well, maybe I'll watch an episode off of yours before I download it.
I think I just streamed it from Hulu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're watching Superman and Lois.
I just downloaded a bunch of those.
It's very good. It's a really good take on Superman. It's like Superman as a father, he has twin boys.
Oh, shit.
And the dude, it's like,
We've already done Superman as a kid.
yeah,
So.
it's like,
Who just got arrested for DUI.
yeah, he did.
Really?
The Smallville guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like pitch perfect Superman. Like,
Huh.
I remember being so excited for all those Arrowverse shows when they were going to do Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
And then right before they got to it, I was like, I am fucking done with these. I cannot watch any more of this same formulaic story.
Yeah, I loved the Arrowverse shows to an extent. Like, Arrow was definitely running its course.
Mm-hmm.
And as the show that was supposed to drive it, it kind of dragged things down. I didn't see, like, the last 2 or 3 seasons of The Flash, but I really liked The Flash.
Flash
after
was,
what
yeah.
I saw. I loved Legends of Tomorrow. It was just like a fun episode of the week kind of thing for the most
Traveling
part.
through
Like,
time and shit.
yeah. That show was a lot of fun. I never tried Black Lightning out, or Stargirl, or
No,
I don't think
anything
I
like
any
did.
other ones that
No,
start coming
Arrow.
along.
So I went back and kind of figured out where I was. I was literally at the end of every season before the season where Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, which is like, I was like, okay, I kept saying like, well, I'll just watch up until then because I'm getting tired. I could never get there. And like, I watched the first episode of Batwoman, and
There's a Batwoman show?
Not anymore.
not anymore.
They lost their Batwoman after 1 season.
Yeah,
Like she quit?
yeah. The show.
That's not a good sign for your show.
No. I watched the first episode. I rewatched it the other day while I was doing some work, and I was like, "Oh man, this is." I don't. So that whole universe of shows was very. They definitely. I don't sound like shithead. They definitely tried to like be inclusive, and then very quickly it felt like not being one of the people they're pandering to. It really felt like pandering.
Like all completely performative.
Well, and like all the superhero, like all of a sudden everybody is fighting, and it seemed like every story was pushing somehow trying to relate to a narrative of an oppressed kind of
Okay.
sexuality or something like that.
Weird.
Which I don't, whatever. If you that's fine, but like it was like everything.
Yeah.
And then Batwoman was like so aggressively
Gay.
Yeah, it really was. It was just like every single piece of it, every single thing in there is all informed upon. This is Catherine Kane and she's gay. This is Batman, but it's a girl and she's gay.
No, that was kind of.
I was like, all right, like.
There's allowed
Pump
to
the
be
brakes.
more than one interesting thing about a person.
Yes, and not only she's gay, she's butch. Do you see how butch she is? She doesn't even have sleeves on. She's so butch. I was like, dude. Oh, and look, she has short hair, and she got kicked out of the military school. I was like, all right, fucking chill.
As a butch lesbian, I probably would have quit too.
I was just like, all right, now that you are mainlining pandering, it felt like.
That was
if it worked for somebody and they saw their stuff, I'm glad you found it. But for me, it was just like, all right, I'm somebody that loves that people can be represented in shows, but god damn,
move along and give us something else.
Yeah.
That was the route Supergirl show.
Yes.
Also took, and I really liked Supergirl for several seasons, and then they were like, well, now we have a trans actor, and your sister's gay. And everything
is that trans? Is she actually a trans woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
They found the most. I thought they were just like, yeah, that's a trans person.
And you're just a woman.
Yeah.
Like a cis woman.
I thought that's what they. I didn't know she was. I mean, I thought like I should find out if she actually is, or is she just portraying one, because it'd be kind of shitty if she wasn't. I didn't hear anything about it, so I guess that makes sense, but. They found the safest choice, I'll say that.
And I mean, I think, especially in these times, it is important to have that kind of representation.
Sure.
But when you're just beating people over the head with it, it's when Marvel's dead.
Well, and when all you're doing is focusing on that aspect of the character, it's not really representation.
No, it's not, because they're a one-dimensional character.
It's a tool being used.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody wants to watch it.
It's like what is it? The new Dragon Age game got a ton of flack.
Yeah,
because the game looks like some Disney Dreamland shit to begin with.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Dragon. It's not that dark fantasy at all.
They remodeled the Kunari to look like just these like cutesy bull things, which I am still fucking hot about bull betraying me in that last Dragon Age game. I played through it 2 fucking times, man. I was 80 hours in the first time when I said no. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do it right. And you still turn on my ass. You motherfucker.
I'm not gonna leave my boy behind.
I remember that happened.
But yeah, so there's like there's a trans Kunari in the new game. And I guess like one of the big issues is just I don't actually know what I'll use that pronoun because I know nothing about them actually. But like one of their big issues is like being dead named and everything, and then the characters going around like dead naming other things, and they can't change from what they are.
Oh boy, yeah, I saw some. My feed, I don't know who it is, and I eventually figured out that I don't want this guy in my feed.
I hate when that happens.
Like this dude had a really blistering takedown of the Disney, the Star Wars Acolyte show, and he pointed out a lot of things. I was like, oh, that's why that show. Like I watched it, and I was like, that's why I just couldn't put my finger on what didn't feel right. And this dude had a really blistering takedown of it and kind of pointed out, and then some of the other videos I was like, oh, this is just the fucking conservative dude. Guy's got enough sense to realize why something sucks, but the rest of his videos, I was like, oh, god damn it.
That sucks.
And one of them was about that game and how it's just pandering to nobody. Like, who actually wants to play this game? You have this dedicated fan base, and then you make a game that is nothing like that your fans want, but it's not good. It's not like you're even appealing to a different fan base. So it's a game for nobody.
What is the last good thing BioWare's done? Like, was there anything worthwhile after Dragon Age Inquisition? That was like the beginning of the PS4 life cycle.
Yeah.
Which would have been...
Yeah, it was.
What, 10 years ago now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. That was about it, right?
I think so.
Mass Effect 3 was bad before that.
I'm going to try to play through that again.
I
found I have the trilogy, like the Ultimate Trilogy Edition. And I'm like, alright. I love those first games so much. And I even liked 3 until it got to the bullshit ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what
I think your review of it turned me off of like being excited to try 3, so I never even bothered. I was like, you know what? 2 kind of ended it. I mean, clearly I haven't missed it.
What I've played of 3 was kind of fine, but compared to like 1 and 2, I didn't feel like I needed it.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, like, since your choices in previous games need to inform certain beats in 3, they released... That's the only one of the series that they released for Wii U.
Yeah.
So I've got the Wii U version of 3. And when you start it, it's like, we're going to take you through all of this story.
Yep. And you pick what choices...
It's like a storybook, and it tells you about what happened in previous games and lets you pick what decisions you would have made in that situation. And then it puts you in 3, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, I mean, that was nowhere near as fun as just playing 1 and 2. Why don't I just go back and play those?
Such a great idea. I was so in on that idea where import your save and your choices continue on. That's such a great idea.
But apparently it didn't really change a whole lot.
Well, I know for
how much could it really change? Right?
Oh yeah,
because like I had played 1 and 2 on the 360, and then I played Inquisition 3 on the PS4. So I had to go to EA's
the website and shit, right?
And they had like a tapestry.
Yes, I did that too. And I never...
where you had to go through and pick your choices.
Yep.
And I have no idea, like, what all I picked right and wrong.
Yeah.
And
I remember
that's probably why that motherfucker turned on
me. He's turning on you no matter what because of shit you did 15 years ago.
Go back. I will hold his head in the water by his bullhorns.
Oh, fuck.
Killed dragons together. It meant nothing to him.
What do they do for that game if you haven't played the first one? Like, does it just assume
it's the same
choices?
thing with Mass Effects.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, where you just say, "Here's what I want to have happened."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can either import your save or do the website thing, or just do it when you start the game.
Okay. It does feel like that's the kind of feature that they put in games back in like the 90s sometimes, like the late 90s.
Suikoden
Yeah.
did it in some regard.
But like a lot of the time back then, it didn't
really because how much could it really change?
But by the time Mass Effect came around, like, you expect that's going to be like a huge influence on how the following games go, and from what I understand,
what I
it's
really
not that huge of a thing.
What I really think would have been neat. So the Witcher games have that ability, which is cool because they're each game is kind of wildly different. But with The Witcher 2 specifically has 2 paths you take through the game. 2 totally different stories. You have to pick one. What would have been really neat is if it's like, if you import your save, you can't get to that path. Because of your choices. You can only go down this path, or you have to start a new game to do that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not a person that makes games, but that's the kind of change I would like to see. The choices I make have on a game where it's like I'm
Like,
totally,
have the consequences be, like, very...
I'm totally
stark.
locked out of them, even this group even looking at me, and it totally informed the entire game. That shit would be awesome. I think. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I'd be fucking annoyed with it, but
I mean, it would probably be cool upon playing it through on, like, a different path, right?
yeah,
Like, you're playing through the game and this whole faction just hates you automatically. But when you're playing through it in a different, like, timeline, like, they're just like any other, like, friendly faction.
Yeah.
And you can, like, interact with them and stuff. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was just
that would
because
be
of what I
neat.
did before.
Yeah, stuff like that would be really neat.
Yeah.
So I went to the ER
Yeah,
last week. That was an experience.
What happened?
well, there was piss on the floor.
I did remember the
I remember the piss on the floor.
I hope it was. I don't know if I hope it was piss. I don't know.
I don't know if I hope it was piss.
I know when
That's
my
really-
next tattoo now.
Terrible, indecisive thing to say.
You know, I went in there and like they took me right back because they're like, if it's your heart, you
Yeah.
can't just die out there.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of the fast pass.
So like, they took me right back to do the tests. So within like half an hour, all the testing I was going to need for the day was done. And then I'm just sitting out in the waiting room because no actual ER rooms available. They just park it back out in the waiting room. They're like, wait till we call you. I fucking showed up when there was like 4 or 5 people there. So I thought, all right, this isn't going to be a long day. About 7 or 8 hours when all is said and done, which still might be okay for a waiting room.
Still
But when
pretty
you're
long.
sitting out there all that time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just waiting for a doctor to say go home,
Yeah. Which ER?
osteopathic.
Yeah.
There was a guy there.
It's not a fun ER. It's not a fun waiting room either.
No.
No. Shitty little waiting room.
Old Spanish guy, I think I'm guessing it was Spanish.
You did refer to him as a
Very-
conquistador.
Yeah, conquistador. Very broken English. He was sitting there, like, from the time I got there, and around the 3-hour mark, he had it. And I apologize if anyone still listens to the show, because this might get loud. But all of a sudden, you hear, hello! Hello! Just top of his fucking lungs. And all eyes go to him because everyone's just miserable at this point. And a lady comes out from behind the desk. She says, what can I help you with? Says, home! It's like, well we can't dismiss you until the doctor sees you because you've already been admitted. And he says, "Oh,
You've been admitted, but we're still keeping you in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not admitted to anywhere but right here.
yeah." Once the tests are done, you are under their care.
I feel like admitted means you get a bed.
Sure.
I'm saying.
That's what I would think too. Yeah, so he's just screaming hello to get their attention, and they come up and he screams home at them. And the lady's like, okay, well, give me a number and I will call someone and they can come get you and then you can just go. But because you've been admitted, we can't just call a taxi for you. And he said, yes, taxi!
Oh, no.
Man.
So, no, we're not allowed. She's trying to explain this to this guy that doesn't really understand. And eventually she just leaves him and goes back to the thing. 5 minutes later, starts screaming hello again. She comes back, she says, I called the number, nobody answered. we'll keep trying. And he's just screaming home at her. And she's the same thing. She's explaining, we cannot discharge you because you're in the system now. We need someone to come pick you up. You need to contact them. And he's pointing at his sister's number. And she says, yes, that's the number I called. Nobody answered. She leaves. 10 minutes later, he's screaming again. Finally, a guy comes back out.
Somebody here has to speak Spanish.
They
Somebody.
legally have to provide that service.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, legally you have to provide some kind of way to translate to be a hospital.
There was a Latina number in the waiting room.
Wait, what?
There was a Latina number in the waiting room.
Hold on, the way you say that. What are you, a number? Like, you mean like a sultry nurse?
No, a patient.
A spicy little Latina number.
I'm looking and I'm like, if she didn't have like COVID or whatever she's here for, she'd probably clean up well.
There's this hot little Latina number.
And the more this guy screams, like, the more she turns in her chair and looks angrier and angrier. And then you see the knuckle tattoos. And you start hearing the quips like, boy.
Oh my god.
She was getting ready to fucking snap out of whatever was plaguing her and fuck this guy up. Because, he was screaming, and it was like every 5-10 minutes.
They're like, Josh, could you cut? No, not now. Nope.
I need to see how this goes down.
My heart rate wasn't up before.
Nope.
So the big guy comes out, like a complete bear of a nurse. Just giant, hairy. Walks out. He puts his hand on the guy's wheelchair, and he says, "You have to stop screaming. We called your kids. Your kids don't want you at home. Your kids called the ambulance on you because you just scream at them all day. Your kids don't want you home." And he's saying, "Home." And the guy keeps explaining. He says, "Can we call anyone else for you?" Home. Guy says, "Your kids don't want you at home. I don't know what we can do, but you have to stop screaming." And then it starts. "Call policia." And the nurse is just like, ugh. And he walks away. And this guy starts screaming, "Call policia! Policia!"
Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah.
Do they have to at that point?
I have no
idea.
idea.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if this guy thought he was being, kidnapped or something at this point.
Or did he just want to try to get the cops? My dad annoys me so bad, I'm calling an ambulance. Take me to the hospital.
There's
got to be
fucking
a
drama
reason.
there.
I think there's something wrong there because this guy had a tube coming out of him. It was thicker than the mic stand.
Okay.
So I wouldn't think it's like a normal catheter or something.
It's probably like a colostomy bag or something.
I don't know. Giant fucking rubber tube just coming
Dude's
out.
got a big old dong.
They take one look. We're going to need the wide gauge.
Call
one.
policia!
It's like this
Show
guy,
him my big dick.
This guy is screaming policia, and he's rummaging around in his wheelchair, and all this fucking crust is falling all over the floor.
Oh god.
I don't know if he had layers of skin that were just falling off him or what. It was just fucking. It's dirt just caked that was falling off of him. And then
man,
he pulls himself up out of his chair when it wasn't like a nurse, it was like a janitor or something came by. So the janitor's like, okay, and he's patting the chair next to him, Now, it's one of the, like, longer
Yeah,
chairs.
yeah.
So he's like, okay, and he helps him get on there, and then the guy lays down on there. But, like, it only takes, like, a third of his body, and the rest of him's just, like, hanging off, and it's just, like, these big, gnarly, crusty feet just shedding shit everywhere.
Oh my god.
And then you look at the ground under him, and shit is just dripping out, like liquid.
Oh,
I don't... It didn't smell like shit,
right.
so I don't think it was shit. And I think, like, if it was, like, a colostomy bag of piss, you'd have smelled like that stale piss, so maybe it was fresh piss.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy was fucking leaking. This place was so fucking rank.
Oh, God.
And at this point, like, the Latina chick's, like, sitting across from me, and he starts screaming again. And she's like, you are not going to be screaming while I'm here.
Oh, man.
I'm like,
she calls
they're
an
going to
ambulance on
fucking
him.
go. Like... No, I mean,
Wow.
This guy kept screaming like another half hour before someone came out and they got him in a chair, and they're like, "We got your brother. He's going to come pick you up. We're going to wheel you far away from all this." And then they took him away to somewhere, and it was just this like pile of filth and liquid on the floor, and this chick in her fucking like Walmart wear. What am I thinking of? Like fluffy ass slippers.
Yeah.
Walks over. It's like liquid pile.
Oh, God.
So like that shit soaked into them slippers.
Oh, man.
And two people tried to stop her. They were like, "No, there's bodily." She's like, "I just stepped in it."
Oh, my God.
Oh my god, there was this there's this old lady, like, it had to be like 90. She took a fucking spill before she got there. Because she had sat down across from me, and her eyelid was split from, like...
Oh, man. Yeah.
And, you know, her daughter's there with her. Her daughter must have been, like, 70.
Yeah.
And she keeps explaining, "Mom, we're in the emergency room. It's not going to be fast." And the mom's, like, getting pissed because she has no idea why she's actually there. And she keeps saying, "We have to be in that line." And the daughter's saying, "Mom, we already checked in. That's not a line. That's just how many people are here." She's like, "No, that's a line, and that's why we're not being seen." She's like, "We're not being seen because it's the emergency room, okay? We're going to be here. It was at least 6 hours last time."
Admittedly, explaining that it's
think.
going to be a slow process because it's the emergency room doesn't actually make sense.
Right.
But it is true.
Yeah.
Then, we had fucking Castro sitting across from me next. Like, it was a revolving door of characters, man. And this guy, like, I'm like, yeah, fucking fight the power. Because he sits down, he's like, he's organizing a revolution. Okay? But while he's organizing a revolution, letting everyone know that there are countries that don't treat people like this in their waiting rooms. Well, he's also coughing up an absolute fucking lung without covering his mouth or anything.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, dude, you fucking sat down right across from me. If I wasn't sick before I got here.
Yeah. It's a really bad... Flu's really, really bad right now.
And then
We had to cancel maintenance. We do a monthly maintenance of all the systems. We had to cancel it because there's so much flu shit.
Casey's quarantining with Abby right now. 'Cause
People are-
Abby has the flu.
Yeah,
She doesn't
people
wanna
are
go to
going
me.
in for everything under the sun. They're like, "Oh, by the way, you have the flu."
yeah,
Jesus.
which is
It's really fucked up right now.
it's so bad.
Yeah.
Go to a fucking urgent care if you have the flu.
Yeah. Don't go to the ER. No. It's the only place people can go to
Yeah, right.
afford not being charged out the ass. But
Castro's
Well, they'll
wife
charge you
came
out the
in with
ass,
him.
but you can just not pay it.
right.
Castro's wife came in with him,
Oh.
and I would have thought that she was the one that was there to be seen because she was just crawling on the floor.
What the
So
fuck?
I'm like, oh, this chick is in, like, serious pain. Well, no.
That's just how she gets around.
Yeah, she was, like, crawling on the floor, and then she'd, like, lean up on the chair. And then when it was time to, like, actually get in the chair, she'd, like, pull herself up to it and just kind of slump in. And that was, like... I had seen her for maybe, like, 20 minutes, and then she disappeared to the bathroom.
And was never seen again.
Pretty much.
Oh.
She would come out for, like, a minute or two at a time.
Crawling or walking?
Walking and crawling.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, and then she would disappear back in the bathroom for like another hour, and then she'd come out and she'd go back in for like another 2 hours. And I have no fucking clue because I'm just like, what? Something makes sense of this place.
So were you just like looking up every like hour or so and being like, yeah, she's still in the fucking bathroom?
Yeah, because the guy ended up like sitting cat-a-corner to me. So if she came back out, she would have sat down with like her purse and everything. No, she was in the bathroom.
It's the only bathroom. It's only one bathroom there. It's just a toilet in a room.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like anything more than that. It's just like one little toilet. She had to shit real bad, so bad she couldn't walk. And she was in there for a while.
I thought like maybe she had herniated a disc or something, and that's why she was being seen, but it wasn't even for her.
Like you could get in a wheelchair.
Yeah, true. They are available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those wheelchairs are fucking terrible.
Yeah, they are.
It's
I
probably
think
better
they
than...
like 3D printed them. And they stuck me in a wheelchair because I was like having problems with being short of breath. And one old guy's like, "Oh, we got these in church," and he pushes the foot of the wheelchair down so I can get my leg in there.
Yeah.
It's like I have the same problem with wheelchairs at church. And then every time they would like wheel me back somewhere and bring me back, he'd be like, "Did they see you?" He was like, he decided he was like my ER buddy, even though he was like sitting 2 rows behind me.
When Mom was in there with her last time, because she like wasn't thinking right, we because it was a stroke, the ambulance went up and I followed, and then they brought her out. She came out. I forget how it went, but we checked her in, and I had her shit, and she went back. And I'm assuming like she just didn't know to say my son's out there and didn't have like a concept of the time because the shit was happening in her head. I was out there for like ever, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, nobody's saying shit.
Yeah.
So I went up and asked, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can go back." So God damn! But while I was out there was this old guy that was my entertainment was this old guy because they gave him like this like hearing aid thing, and he's just like the kind of old guy that'll just talk to anybody, and he's sitting right next down to this black lady and her 2 daughters, and they're like, they don't want anything to do with this guy, but he's so fucking nice they can't like be like, shut up.
You can't forget the phrase black lady, because if you pause too long before you say it, it feels like you were going to say something else. Sits down right next to this black lady.
That's not what I meant. It was just really funny.
We could see your face.
Yeah.
You were just looking for the word.
It sounded like I was not going to say black lady, but I truly was just trying to remember what I was trying to say. But she was like, I think the mom was the one that was being seen, so her just daughters were sitting, and they didn't want anything to do with this old man, but he's so fucking nice that they like
you can't be mean to him.
Yeah, like he was actually breaking through to because they were just shut down. Like, fuck, I don't want to be here. You could just tell they were annoyed, and he was actually breaking through, and they were like begrudgingly be like, yeah, it's not like. I was like, wow, man. This kindly old gentleman just explaining how his hearing aid works to these ladies in such a nice way.
That's the guy I want to be
Yeah,
when
right.
I'm old. I want to be the annoying ass guy that nobody really wants to talk to, but then I break them. I force them to like me.
Yeah.
That probably will be me.
Excuse me.
I'll start talking about cutting hookers open like a tauntaun.
There you go. Yeah. Somebody will be like, all right, I'm at least going to listen to this guy.
The old lady with the split eyebrow started blaming the waiting room on Biden.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
Castro was in there. He's like, well, I think this goes far beyond any specific, administration.
Here we go.
Pulls out his manifesto.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, dude, you're trying to fucking get political with a lady that has a concussion in her 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
By the way, what happened to your wife, sir? I'm not going to say I disagree with the statement, but where's your wife? I'm really worried about your wife, and I feel like you should be too. She crawled into the bathroom 2 hours ago.
Oh, she can crawl. She's fine.
there was that concern there, but I'm also thinking like, this place is fucking packed.
Yeah.
Why is she stealing the bathroom from everyone?
Yeah. Does nobody have to shit? or
Like,
pee?
God forbid anybody has to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
No.
Or
Go
it
in
just-
there and she's like, I'm the Dookie Monster.
Oh, they weren't even there to go see a doctor. She just likes to go hang out in the bathroom.
That guy fakes sick.
Yeah.
Like every weekend they go to a new ER just so she can eat some sick poo.
And while he's there, he proselytizes.
Yep. Oh, fuck.
Don't worry about her. She likes to play Dookie Monster.
Yep. Man.
Did you mean Cookie Monster?
No.
No.
No. Sometimes she calls them cookies, but
Oh.
give me a cookie.
Give me them macaroons.
See a head pop under the door. You got any sweet treats for me?
Oh, no, not sweet treats.
Oh, man.
Oh. Well, I can understand now why you said you didn't know if you wished it was piss. That is a weird thing to say, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Now that we know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I have no idea what that fluid was. Like, I have never seen a catheter the size of... I mean, that's what, like a half inch?
Yeah, probably.
Half-inch diameter?
Quarter, 3/4, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy would have had to have a humongous dick.
That might be an inch.
Could be.
It's a good inch catheter.
Well.
Got that elephant
Specifically a humongous piss hole.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's not...
What if this was the circumference of his dick, but his piss hole was also that big?
It's just a thin sheet.
paper thin cock.
When he pees, it's like one of those like inflatable
Yeah.
guys at the car dealership. Just flying all over the place, spraying piss
What
everywhere.
the fuck was happening?
Fucking car dealership.
Oh, man.
Oh no.
I had to get my inspection done.
Mm-hmm.
Had to get my oil changed, tires rotated. Went up there. $600 fucking dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And everything would have passed, but my rear rotors were rusted.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have this car for a while. I would just get ahead of this issue so nothing gets further fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, getting the rotors ground down, brakes replaced, fluids flushed. $600.
Yeah,
And they originally quoted me like $700. So when they came back and it was $100 less, that's great. But
Right.
still.
Yeah.
I think D needed a new... Yeah, her battery. He was like, you can take it, but he's like, I can't even promise it's going to start tomorrow.
Ugh.
Please change the battery. I don't want to have to deal with my wife sitting alongside a road somewhere. Please.
And batteries aren't cheap anymore either. But
No,
like,
no. I had to get my mom one a couple weeks ago when we were getting like the
They start at like $130 now.
we were getting like it was like that first big snowstorm we had. she called me and she was like, hey, I don't know if Shay, I forget, she was like, when you come up, can you check to make sure that you might need to help dig my car out or something? I forget what the issue was. I didn't, so that was cool. But then the next day she calls me and she's like, hey, listen to this. And she's in the car and she's hit start and it's just going like click, 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 like frantically clicking. I was like, yeah, your battery's probably shot.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll come up tomorrow. And I took the battery out, took it over to AutoZone, which is in the backyard now in Middletown, which is awesome. Like I was like, he was like, our battery tester doesn't work. He was like, I can put it on the charger for 2 hours and you come back and see. I was like, no, I'll just take it to somewhere with a tester that works.
Right.
I took it down to the one by my house because I was like, well, if it's going to be 2 hours, I'm just going to go home while it charges. Yeah. That fucker he deserves a raise. My man was like, come on in. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, all right, what you got? And I just put the battery down. He's like, all right, let's check this baby out. And he's like, there's got to be a warranty on this thing. He was like, swear, like, this man was in the AutoZone. He was into it. And then he was like, here's your problem right here, look. And he's like, see that bulge? He's like, yeah, on the battery. He's like, you need a new battery. I was like, all right. He like my man hooked me up. It was like, it's like almost like $300. And Mom doesn't have.
You want a good battery?
She doesn't have like a big car. It's not like it's a teeny tiny little guy.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man.
Yeah, I replaced my battery last year maybe, and it used to be if I was noticing my car was having trouble starting up, I'd be like, well, I'll take the car in and have the battery checked, and it cost me $40 to throw a new battery in it, whatever. I'll just get one of the cheapy ones and just ride on that. Cheapy
That
ones
doesn't
are
exist.
nowhere near that cheap.
Yeah.
And like, you can still get a shitty battery, but it is still going to cost you more than $40. Like, I think the cheapest one that would work in my car, and I mean, you know how big my car is.
Yeah, right.
I think my car qualifies as a subcompact. And it was like $130 for the cheapest. And I didn't even get the cheapest because I'm like, well, that's too shitty. Like, yeah.
We were, this is my segue. We're talking about cars, and I was in a car, so I'm going to tell the story.
Excellent segue.
That's how it worked in my head. We, for my birthday, I was like, I really want prime rib. Dodge City, restaurant in Harrisburg. Okay. It's, do you remember where the old Trogs was?
Yeah.
It's like right across the street.
Oh,
I don't know why there's a restaurant there.
Huh.
No idea what that area looked like.
Probably why we've never heard of the restaurant.
But it's been there for like 40 years.
Yeah. I know I've been there. Now that you tell me where it was.
Yeah.
Or where
it's like a steakhouse. It's been around for. It's like Harrisburg's one of those voted Harrisburg's best steakhouse a couple years. And
Okay.
I have no idea why.
That's because only 4 people voted in that.
That's true, but that's how I won VidJam. That's how we won VidJam that one time. So.
You're not wrong.
It was between us and the fucker that was eating his pizza crust first, but we brought more people.
Fucking weirdo.
Stupid movie. Yeah, so we were. I was like, the last time I had it there. Let's go there. So Dee's like, all right. She looks at the web. She's like, I don't think they take reservations. And there's a phone number, and it just says, call us when you're on your way. Tell us you're coming in. So we were like, I guess it's call ahead. We didn't call ahead anyways. Forgot to. Drive up there. This is how oblivious we are. It's fucking hilarious. We go up there, and it's like packed, an hour wait. And people were like waiting there. They were like, yeah, we have reservations. And it's at that point, I'm like, oh, call and let us know you're coming is a cutesy way of saying call for reservations.
Oh.
And Dee was like, why didn't we think of that? I was like, we are also, I don't know if you guys remember this story, but how when we went to the beach that one time, we were sitting at the bar in the place that sells pizza, and on the board you could get cheese slice $1, and we're like, I leaned over and I was like, I think they sell slices of cheese. And she was like, oh yeah, I guess they do. I wonder like what's so special about this cheese in the pizza.
Oh my God.
I was like, we are so oblivious to things sometimes. This is another one of those situations.
At least you weren't alone.
No.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
How much worse would it have been if you were like, I think they sell slices of cheese here, and she was like, you're fucking dumb.
I mean, I guess it's great to have a ride or die with me, but like, it's great. Like, stand by your man is all great, but when your man's being a fucking moron, please.
Right. Let me know. Yeah. You can tell me.
She's just like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I'm one of those people that would rather know when they're a dumbass,
but so when we end up having to come back this past weekend with a reservation. Went swimmingly. But we were trying, failing in vain, to find a place to get prime rib. And Saturday at 6 o'clock is really not the time to find a table anywhere.
Right.
So we went from there to the Glass Lounge, which is at like the other side of Harrisburg. But I have not driven through Steel and on up through in fucking forever. It's all different. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Like PSCCU isn't there anymore.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's like a college, or it's like a Connections charter school now. It wigged me out. I was like, because I drove that way every day, going to Hack, or when Mom and I were sharing a car, she worked up there.
And that whole stretch was largely unchanged.
Yeah, for like ever.
Time.
Yeah.
For fucking ever. Now it's like, well, different. I don't know how. It's like a part. I was telling Dee, I was like, it feels like a part of the world that I forgot about, which is crazy.
Yeah, for a little bit on like 230.
Yeah.
It was a big deal when like Jamesway Plaza, where the Sharp Shopper is, when Sharp Shopper moved to the store that Jamesway used to be in.
Yeah.
And like,
shit, where was Sharp Shopper before that?
it was just one of the things in the strip.
Was
that
it?
was next to it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like at the end.
No, the very end was
The school.
The school.
Yeah. The other end.
I think because there was a Radio Shack in there too.
Yeah.
And I think the
Family
Sharp
Dollar.
Shopper was like on the other side of the Radio Shack from the school.
Okay.
So I think it was like 3 stores down or
Yeah,
something from the school. But like, yeah, it was just a little hole in the wall shop where they sold expired food, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we're going to take over part of the old Jamesway building. And then they took over the whole thing, and that was like a huge thing. And then they started building that like, it was a hotel,
There's a
right?
hotel
There's a
there
hotel there. And that itself was weird because like something major was changing
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah.
And now like just all of a sudden
It's like
we're
that
going to
whole
go
area.
ahead and develop this area now.
Yeah.
I hate that area so fucking much
Yeah.
because it's like a 3-year-old designed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any
it's like,
sense.
Here's a Sharp Shopper, here's a bank, here's a pile of dirt that's going to sit here for 30 fucking years.
Which I think is supposed to be like a parking garage or something, right?
I have no idea. Then
It probably has been literally 30 years.
And here's
though.
2 gas stations right beside each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like they're throwing random shit in there. I don't know, to try to make Middletown look
They're just
like
trying
it has shit.
to like build up the area around the airport.
But it's just
Yeah.
there's no real rhyme or reason to it.
Well, I mean, you've
the
got Penn State
layout of
there.
the place is terrible.
Yeah. You have Penn State there, and there's like student housing that's expanded
It's
out.
fucking everywhere now.
Yeah. So I guess they're like, well, we've got a big enough student population, and like we also want to attract students to the school, and if you have more amenities nearby, it helps. But like, could do better.
There's nothing there for like what college kids like. Ooh, they have a
Oh, we got a Wawa.
we got a Wawa and a Sheets. You know.
If you're asking me, all college kid needs a Sharp Shopper. Like,
That's all I was eating in college. Well, I say college. The school that
The
was
school
down
by
the
the
street
shop,
from
yeah.
That's all I've ate for 20 years of my life.
I've been in Sharpshopper quite a while. Man,
Oh man.
one of those not even want to say guilty. One of those simple nostalgia pleasures of mine is thinking back on James Way. I loved that place as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like like Toys R Us was awesome, but like James Way's right there, and they have movies and toys.
My earliest memory
Uh-huh.
was in James Way.
Yeah.
And it was early enough that I was in the like seat that like you put a kid in that's like they're lying down like in the front of the cart.
Yeah.
And I remember being scared of the ceiling over me. Which probably contributed a lot to the fact that like I now can't be in a place with a very high ceiling without getting vertigo.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Or maybe it's just like I was scared of it because it made me feel
Yeah,
that way. And
yeah,
it's
right.
always been like that. But yeah, that's my earliest memory, and I was little enough that I was in one of those lay down in the front of the cart seats.
I remember buying all my Godzilla toys in the 90s there. I remember that was my fucking G.I. Joe hotspot.
Tiger Electronic, the LCD game.
I bought Hero Quest there, board game. I got tons of tapes. That's where my mom bought me Toxic Avenger.
Wow.
I remember getting shoes there and being like, surely these look like... They did not. You could not pass those off for airwalks whatsoever. You couldn't pass those off. They were dad mowing shoes. And I remember justifying to myself that like, oh yeah, these are definitely airwalks.
Yeah, I wish my mom bought me some titty tapes at that age.
So all of my memories of James Way obviously are as a child because it closed a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it flooded. And
Yeah.
then it never reopened.
Yeah.
It was like a slightly more upscale like Kmart sort of deal. Right?
Not upscale. No, it was
Yeah, I don't know
downscale
if
from
it's
Kmart.
From Kmart?
Yeah, it was
Really?
Hills was better than that.
Oh fuck.
Hills and Kmart were like a level above James.
Hills.
Way.
Yeah, I remember James Way being like low tier.
Oh
Yeah.
man, okay.
James Way might have been like far more competition, but far more probably had the edge because it had a pharmacy in it.
Yeah.
Do you remember McCrory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you
Yeah.
remember McCrory's. You were right
I
there.
was there all the time.
Yeah.
They had to play Choice 10.
Yes, they did. You bet your ass they did.
No, I don't think I was there.
No?
I thought I knew the name, but
It was where the Giant is in Middletown. It's not... The actual store isn't even there anymore.
Yeah, they demolished that part
But
of the
like
building
when
to
that
build out the
strip,
Giant.
that strip when you're walking down towards Giant, at the very end there was like the lowest tier like
Drugstore / it was a lot like a Dollar Tree.
yeah.
It wasn't
Like-
even a drugstore either. It was a 5 and dime.
Yeah,
is what it was.
whatever
but,
whatever they could. This is like Family Dollar kind of deal.
I think like original Giant Hardee's might have been as deep into Middletown
Okay,
as I'd gotten at that point in life.
Man.
I mean McCrory's was there. Probably it was probably until you were in probably like 3rd grade. I think is when it closed down.
Really? No, I
Yeah,
think it
something
lasted longer than that, didn't it? Because like
No.
I thought I remembered that shop still being there when I first started working at Giant.
You know what? It might have been.
Because that was 98.
It might have been there because it did last a little longer after.
I think that the McCrory's was in there until they knocked that part of the building down, right?
No, it shut. It was shut down.
Oh, yeah.
It was just nothing for a spell
Okay.
before they just took it down. It might have been. Yeah, it might have been more like
It had to be later because
96, maybe.
I don't know.
No, you know what? It was there till 97. I know 100% it was there till 97.
It might have even been longer because I swear to God, because I started
It's
working
possible.
I started working at Giant in 98.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember going over to McCrory's and buying 1990 The Bronx Warriors on VHS for $1 at that store.
And
that would have been when I was leaving work at Giant.
When 97 is when... Yeah, 97 was when my group of friends, we were all still in Middletown before Jake and Tony moved away. And we would leave Feezer, and then we would walk up to my house and then back around. We just do the loop, because that's when my cousin would get out. And I would walk him back. And I distinctly remember walking past, we were walking back towards McCrory's, and my girlfriend tried to kiss me. I didn't want to kiss her. So she closed her eyes and leaned in, and I walked away.
It's fucking cold-blooded.
Yeah. Luckily, them eyes were closed, so I played it off like I didn't know
Smooth
what was
operator.
happening. And that was outside McCrory, so yeah, that would have been 97, 98.
Oh, man. Yeah, it would have had to been there. I feel like it would have had to been there until, because I didn't start working at Giant there until, late 98 either. So it would have had to be, December of 98 or sometime in, early 99.
Yeah. Yeah, McCrory's was all about the Play Choice 10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was... But Jamesway was that's my happy place.
Jamesway was tight.
It's so funny. I mean, I was, we know this, but I was such a toy kid that Jamesway, I could tell you a few of the G.I. Joe figures I got there. I can tell you, I know when Playmasters started putting out Godzilla toys in the 90s, I got them there because they were figures from the 90s movies that we didn't get over here. So it was Batra and Mecha King Ghidorah, and I was like, what is this? I need to know.
They did have stuff there that I don't remember seeing anywhere else. They had Nintendo Game & Watch.
Yeah.
There. And I do not remember.
I don't remember
seeing
those
those
anywhere.
ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they did sell them in the U.S.
You know
There's
what
U.S.
else?
packaging for them and everything, but
You know what I did get there? I got the 12-inch Destro from G.I. Joe's.
Hell yeah.
Because you could take his mask off and see what the fuck was going on under there.
What a fucking load of shit.
Yeah, it was just a regular
You
face.
take that mask off, yeah.
It was just a face.
What did I expect?
Yeah, right. I know. I felt like it was
they
going to
should have just had be a smooth.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
face.
this disfigured something or other. No, it was just a dude.
And what reaction was I supposed to have? I know that guy. No, it's fucking generic ass.
You take it off and it looks like Mr. Braun.
You take the mask off and it's Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, right. I know, and I don't know if that was the marketing, but fucking I feel like everybody the two friends I had that played G.I. Joes with on the street, that was the shit. We needed to know.
Yeah.
We had to know what was under that mask.
Somebody's got to get this.
Yeah.
So we can take the mask off.
I had no 12-inch G.I. Joe figures. When Destro came out, I needed it.
Yeah. I got that. I got the Snake Eyes. The Snake Eyes was bullshit too. See, he didn't have a face on it. It was like a Ken doll. So it was like plastic with a rubber head, just like a Barbie. But his was just it was just naked dude and a ninja mask.
Yeah. And, under that ninja mask, that was just Destro's face painted over.
Yeah.
Naked dude in a ninja mask.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, man.
Everybody, I've since found out that those 90s G.I. Joes are the joke of the G.I. Joe world.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love them. Ninja Force. It's all
Ninja
G.I. Joes,
Force.
but they're ninjas.
Oh, no.
That's fucking nailed it with the 90s kid. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't give me those boring army men. I want ninjas.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
You ramp it up.
Yep.
You've already sold them all the army men.
Uh-huh. There's a dude I watch on YouTube that does vintage toy retrospectives, and they're really good. And he's a little older, so this guy's opinion is oh yeah, the early couple years of G.I. Joe when they were army men, based on that first cartoon. This is before it got bad, and I'm looking at all this. I'm like, yeah, like objectively, I'm like that. Those are clearly better looking toys, but like
They're not the ones you have.
they're not the ones that like. They're just not neon enough. They're like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I could look at it and be like, yeah, and clearly there's no reason for like rubber tentacled alien monsters to exist in the G.I. Joe world, but that fucking alien that I know the smell of it. I can tell. Like if I smelled that particular plastic smell, I'd be like, there is a G.I. Joe alien figure somewhere here. Love that shit.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna be reminiscing about James Wade.
James Wade, that was. I mean, James Wade was my spot for. I guess I got Ninja Turtles there. I'd have to, but I know I got Ninja Turtle. I know for sure I got G.I. Joes and Transformers there, and the Hero Quest board game. I think.
Yeah, you lucked out with that Hero Quest board game.
Still have it.
Like, I remember it being a thing back in the
Yeah.
day too, but like, nobody had that shit.
Well, I bought it and didn't have anybody to play it with.
Yeah, well, that's why nobody had it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna buy you that. Who's gonna play it with you?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it with you.
Mom would not buy me Dungeons and Dragons because she's like, I'm not playing D&D. I don't know what that is. I don't want to learn it. I'm gonna have to learn it. And I don't
That's a
wanna
whole
learn it.
book. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, back then, it was sold on the shelf right with, and then
Yeah,
there
it was
were
like a little kit.
yeah, like it was sold as a board game. Like second edition was a board game. So I was like, no. She's like, not at all. I got Dragon Strike. You remember
She
that?
saved you.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember Dragon Strike? Did you ever see the
Yeah.
videos for that?
Oh,
I had
yeah.
that shit. I wish
I had a Dragon Strike.
Yeah, Dragon Strike.
Yeah.
I still have the tape.
Oh man.
Probably
Nobody
got
ever
that
played
there.
that with me either. I think I played it with
That one you
Matt
could.
once.
That one nobody. Absolutely nobody played that with me. Played that with myself, but that was cool. Toys R Us is where I got my Ninja Turtles, and Hills was my.
The Toys R Us over across from the fucking county prison.
It was before. Remember when it was not beside the prison when it was part of the mall?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then it moved.
Yeah, I remember when it moved, and we were like, "Why you want to put the toy store over by the prison?" Yeah.
Hills, I think that's where my Inhumanoid stuff. I think that's where I got all that.
Still think your mom made up Inhumanoids. I have the whole series on my Plex, but I don't believe it.
Yeah,
Loved Hills.
Hills.
Hills was fun,
Hills is where the toys are. Hills was cool.
and Best was a thing too.
Man, I forgot
Best.
Best. Damn.
Holy
Best.
shit.
Damn.
Was that the one off Paxton Street?
I think
There
so,
was a
yeah.
Best.
Yeah, that's where I got a bunch of Ghostbusters toys.
And I remember.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember
Hills-
what
Hills-
that place was.
Wait, Pax, where the giant is? Hills is where the giant is now. No, that's Jonestown Road. Never mind.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Where was Best?
That was where Club Med is now, right? Or no, was it up past the mall?
I think it was up past the mall.
I think it was.
Yeah.
There was something up past the mall, and then there was another one where I guess it's where the Gold's Gym
Okay.
part of Club Med is. I forget what that store
I don't
was.
remember. Yeah, that I don't remember.
I know I got toys from there before.
Yeah, Hills was my Ghostbusters and Inhumanoid. I had fucking spots.
Am I remembering correctly that Best was the store where you would like? It was kind of like Toys R Us with the video games, where you take the slip up and you would pay for it, and then they would go get the game for you. But at Best, I remember it being like you would go up and you would pay, and they'd essentially send the order to the back, and somebody
And
in
they'd
the
bring it
back would
out?
like pick your order.
There
and
was
put
a
it on a
store like
conveyor
that.
belt.
There was a store like that.
It was like a roller belt that it would come
There
down
yeah, fuck.
in a basket or something.
What was the thing where you collected stamps and you could go turn them in at the store? You remember that?
Oh fuck!
I got in trouble for that place because they told people, like my mom's friends, that we would go there and trade in our food stamps. Just like green stamps,
Green stamps.
not food stamps.
Oh my god!
I think I told the ladies auxiliary that.
Whoops.
pipes.
Like the time I told my grandmother that my daddy smokes out of a pipe.
Yeah.
He didn't. Not that kind of pipe.
I was running late today because I was trying to get my dad his money back.
For what?
Him and Kathy were going to go to L.A. Well, not just L.A. They were going someplace in California for like 2 days, and then
But they never
were
got
going down
there.
to LA.
They never got there.
Never got there. I drove him to the airport on Monday, and I came back home and I went to the store and I bought a bunch of shitty food. I was telling Doug, like I bought some frozen pizzas and some fucking candy, and I was ready to just like sit around in my underwear and be a fucking slug for a week.
I was kind of hoping to do that this weekend. Dee was going to go away, but she can't go away, so now I can't slug.
I can.
I mean, I can't. Yeah, right. She's quarantining.
No, in slug mode.
I started eating and I started playing Slay the Spire. And I noticed my phone started flashing. And I had the volume off, so it's a good thing I saw it because my dad had texted me like a half hour before the phone call to be like, hey, flight's canceled. So I was like, okay. Jump up, get dressed, drive his fucking car back to Middletown while the snow's like just starting. And I'm thinking like, this is fucking great because the last time I drove a Benz in the snow,
you wrecked it.
I totaled it. And I do not like how that thing handles. Like every little bump just kind of throws it all over the road.
Aw. I mean, you think for a luxury car like that, it would drive a little smoother.
No idea. So yeah, vacation was canceled. We're driving back, and Kathy keeps insisting, well, we could just drive to D.C. and we could still make it. And he's like, that's where the snow is coming from. We're not driving 2 hours in a foot of snow. So, yeah, like, whole vacation canceled. Then it turned into like, can I get my money back? He thought he had ordered refundable tickets. Turns out he did not. He had ordered insurance for them. But here's where insurance is a fucking scam. The insurance you got, it's just for like an illness. Like if you can't go because you're sick. So because he wasn't sick, Amtrak wouldn't give him money back for the train in California. So now he's got a huge voucher from Amtrak. United didn't want to refund the flight to DC, but I was able to get that straightened out for him. So
Like,
he's at least getting...
They canceled it.
Yeah. They just wanted to give him a voucher.
Yeah, that's right. They don't want to refund the money.
Yeah.
They want to keep your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, that feels like a situation where you shouldn't be allowed to just refuse to give a refund.
Yeah. You did not provide the service.
Yeah, I paid you for this service. The
event is
you
not...
retracted the offer of service.
Money back.
You don't
please.
get to keep my money.
Yeah.
Perfectly logical.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to get things straightened out with United for him, which was weird because everything you read online says United is terrible about refunding money. But that's set up and supposed to go through in a couple days. Delta, however, like Delta was the long flight, the fucking
like
DC
Chicago to
California.
Oh, that's why she wanted to drive to DC.
Yeah,
because the connecting flight was okay.
And like this was his first vacation, like 15 years, so he went all out.
Yeah,
sure.
Like they went first class. That was the plan. So now he's out like $2,200.
Damn.
Because they're just giving him a voucher.
But like, did Delta cancel their flight?
Yeah.
That
So he could,
feels illegal.
right?
Like,
I told him,
no.
like, file a complaint with the Department of Transportation or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Or like the DA.
For whatever reason, they sell non-refundable tickets. And that's what
Even if
they're saying
they
this is.
cancel, though? Like that...
Yeah, it's
Oh,
That feels
actually,
like the only circumstance under which they should not be allowed to say that it's non-refundable
No.
up front.
that flight ended up not canceled, but it was delayed from, like...
right because
It was delayed, like, 6 hours.
yeah, there was no reason
Damn.
to cancel it as it was moving up this way, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
But, yeah.
It's fun.
So, I mean, between Amtrak and Delta, he's out like 2,600 total.
Man.
Might be a little more because I think the voucher for Amtrak's pretty decent size too. Damn. But yeah, so, and Kathy's pissing him the fuck off, being like, "I told you we should have just drove down to DC. Well, now I'm just going to take the voucher and go to Florida." And he's like, "You want to go to Florida? You pay for it."
Yeah,
I mean, fair, right?
yeah.
Like,
That's not your voucher; it's my voucher. Because I paid for it.
well,
Yeah.
I just get to do whatever I want with your money, so...
But yeah, so I was running behind because I was trying to help him get his money back, and then I stopped at the new Wendy's they built, like just off 39 and 83.
Mm.
All I fucking wanted was a cheeseburger.
Oh, no.
I pulled up to the window. I'm like, yeah, could I just get a double cheeseburger, just, ketchup and cheese on it? The guy says, "Do you want a combo?" I said, "No, just a sandwich." Do you want a drink? I'm like, "Yeah, let me get a medium Coke with that." It's like, and if you make it a combo, you can. And I'm like, "No, I don't want the combo, man. I don't want fries. Just give me the sandwich." And
It's not a complex order, really.
And then he's like, "Did you want the big double cheeseburger or the little one?" Like, I didn't know there were different double. I
Oh,
guess
probably
big
talking
one.
about the Dave's double?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
You should have brought your translator.
Yeah, right. I'm the Wendy's whisperer.
I pull up to the window and I'm sitting there for like 2 minutes, and he finally opens the door, and he says, "You wanted that one plain, right?" Yeah, it's just ketchup and he finishes the sentence. It's like, "Cheese, the ketchup and cheese." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." My pronouns are he.
Did he not, like...
My pronouns are ketchup and cheese.
What's weird is, when you order, before they can even give you your total, they have to bring it into their system.
Yeah.
He didn't give me a total, but I saw it on the
Oh, God.
the thing.
So he did bring it in.
Yeah, and it was correct.
But didn't think to look at
Yeah.
it to see what you had wanted. Figured he'd better go ask you in person.
And then I'm sitting there with the card waiting for him to take it, and he just shuts the window on me. And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on with this place? Why can't I have a normal experience for once in my life?"
You know,
Did he eventually charge you? Or did you have to remind him?
I sat there waving it, and he came back, and he, like, put it in there, and he handed me the soda, gave me the card back, and disappeared in another 2 minutes. And then he comes back and gives me the bag, and I open it up to look for the straw, and there's no straw in there. So I'm like waving him back down, and he just looks at me. It's like,
"Hi."
I am clearly waving for your attention. I have your attention. Come back to the fucking window. He's just looking at me. So I hold the soda up, and I hold the bag up, and he walks back, and he picks the straw up. So I'm like...
So he gets it.
Yeah, apparently. He's like, "Okay, I must have missed something here." I'm just like, I'm driving down the road. I'm like, I'm so fucking tired. And I'm like fumbling through the bag. And it is so fucking hot.
Oh. That has never been my experience at the drive-thru.
I pick it up, and I bite into it. And I'm like, motherfucker, this experience was terrible. And this is like one of the top 5 cheeseburgers I've had in my fucking life. Like, this thing is so hot that I cannot hold it for long without grease burning my hand.
Oh my God.
One disappointingly exquisite cheeseburger.
And I'm just like... As hot as this burger is, I am seething just as hot because of like how stupid this guy was.
He's
And I'm like,
savant.
yeah, this is a work of art.
He can't handle anything but making a cheeseburger.
And yeah, he had to like double check it, triple check it, just to make sure his masterpiece was fit to go out that window.
I'm going to make this burger for this guy. He's like the guy at AutoZone,
Yeah.
But
for burgers.
Right.
like,
He's in the burger
how
zone.
can I still be angry at this guy?
Yeah.
But when I think about like the process to get there, it does still piss me off a bit.
And so then you actually kind of start to feel a little bad about being pissed off about it. Because you're like, I mean, he did hand me the best burger I've ever had in my life.
I bite into it, and the grease like pours out like my chin, and I'm like, "That's hot." Fuck! I need a napkin. Did he give me napkins? That's hot.
It's funny that your reaction was "that's hot" because I was like, this must be what it feels like to take a cum shot. If you're into that.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
No, that's Iron Maiden.
Oh, that's Iron Maiden.
I was like wiping my face for like 10 minutes of the drive because of how scalding the grease is. I'm like, do I have to go back to the fucking ER for the 3rd degree burn?
3rd degree grease burns.
It's just gonna be like an entire room of people that visited that Wendy's.
It was a good burger, though, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Everybody there is horribly, horribly disfigured
Mutilated.
and super happy about the burger.
One guy has a steaming stump where his arm's supposed to be.
Dude's laying across the chair with a fucking Dave's double working its way through his PVC pipe. Instead of screaming home or police, he's like, Wendy!
Taxi to Wendy's. Oh, man, that's awesome.
You guys want to play some games?
Sure.
Spock, take a look at this subspace news article. Some fool blew his own face off while cleaning a loaded phaser. Fascinating, Captain. Was it someone aboard the Enterprise? No, Spock, it happened in Florida.
All right, our states this week, they're Florida, Utah, and California.
I'm an expert on Utah. Literally never been to Utah.
That's the only way you can be an expert.
Wait, I've been to Nevada, though. I had to have been through Utah. I don't remember it.
Milkovich just drugged you for that part.
Yeah, right.
Turn off.
That was the GHB day.
Yeah. It's for your own good.
You don't want to remember Utah. He doesn't talk like that. I don't know why I said it that way.
That man needs a PVC pipe.
Yeah. That was the Milkovich catheter.
Named after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Milk Sea.
Get the Milkovich. The Milky Sea. That's what Josh got on his face when he ate that burger.
Milky Sea. Yeah.
I still feel gross because I had grease all over my face. So I'm going to have that feeling there until I get home and like wash my face. Headline number 1. Anti-LGBTQ writer who accused drag queens of grooming kids is arrested for child molestation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Clearly.
There we go. There it is. That's an other shoe we've been waiting to drop for a while.
California, Utah, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Headline number 2. Scalper starts brawl in Costco at the release of new Pokemon cards. Pokemon 151.
Did not ever see. Yo.
Oh, it's called Pokemon 151?
Yeah.
So it's like Gen 1.
I guess.
I know too much about Pokemon as somebody who's only ever
think
played like one Pokemon game.
I think I knew, like, I could have figured that out if I thought about it.
Yeah.
I don't like Pokemon.
You know, I actually have played more than one Pokemon game, but only one like normal Pokemon game. Pokemon Snap was the shit though.
I tried the 3DS one, and I was like, there's like 700 of these fuckers. I was like, I don't.
I mean, you don't have to catch them all.
No.
But like,
I didn't want to catch any of them.
yeah. Well, and you kind of have to like
Care.
know things about them
right?
to be good at it. So like,
Nope.
it was bad enough when there were only 150.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Split across 2 games.
Right.
I played Blue start to finish, and I fucking love that game. That's the whole reason I had a Game Boy Color, even though it was all black and white.
I had Yellow, which did have some color. That was like a hybrid Game Boy GBC cart, but I didn't have a Game Boy Color.
I don't think I had a Game Boy Color. I think it was a mini Game Boy. It was a blue
the
Game
Pocket?
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Game Boy Pocket, and I had Link's Awakening DX.
We all had a Game Boy Pocket?
Yeah.
That's something to reminisce over.
Yeah.
That Game Boy Pocket was tight.
Yeah. And
I still have it somewhere.
I still have mine. Link's Awakening DX was just Link's Awakening with a exclusive dungeon that you needed color, because it was like the sprites were the same, they were just different colored, and you had to deal with them different ways. And I fucking powered my way through that shit. I didn't care if I didn't have color. I figured it out.
Link's Awakening was possibly the best Game Boy game.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's real good.
Okay, so we got the
Oh yeah.
the grooming kids writer, the Pokemon Brawl, and our final headline: man arrested in deadly shooting a friend who claimed he could dodge bullets.
Bullshit. I swear I can't. All right.
All right, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
Look, if I die, you cannot be legally charged
Yeah.
because I said so.
At least use a BB gun.
Right?
Right? They're slower than regular
Yeah.
bullets. You should really be able to.
Like,
dodge
if you could
that.
dodge a BB, then I'll buy that you can move a little faster to dodge a bullet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I'll shoot you with a real bullet.
Yeah, right? No.
Oh my god! Did you say that he got arrested or he was actually convicted?
I think he said charged.
Yeah, he's charged.
Okay.
That reminds me,
Feel-
the chick from Even Stevens, Christy Carlson Romano, she got shot in the face with a pellet gun. Well, they were, she took her husband like clay pigeon shooting.
Ooh.
For I guess his birthday or something, and someone shot her right in the face.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it was like that far from losing an eye.
Wait. Is that Ren Stevens?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That fucking sucks. Try to
I-
do something nice for your spouse.
Is she
and-
like our age?
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew, because I think she... I was too old to be attracted to her because I was too old to be attracted to the character she was playing on the show, but she was our age, so I never knew if it was okay or not.
That's at least not as bad as when you have a crush on a character that is your age, but they're underage when you were underage. And then later on you think back and you're like, well, I mean, I can't really feel that way anymore, can
Yeah,
I?
right, yeah.
That character was 12.
That character is forever 12, and I can't have those memories anymore. I can't have
Gotta
those
scrub
fond-
that out of my brain somehow. Guess I better take up drinking.
All right, is it me still?
It is. I believe you have one successful defense.
Yes, once. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, child grooming in. Ooh, I'm not confident with this. Child grooming in California. Dodging bullets in Florida. Leaving Pokemon Costco brawl in Utah.
Dollar menu.
I don't know if bulk shopping is a thing that happens in Utah. I'm not confident.
I've got very different picks.
I would hope so.
Extremely different picks. Child grooming in Florida. Pokemon in Utah. And, oh, no. Pokemon in California, sorry. And the guy who could dodge bullets in Utah.
I keep in my head thinking that Josh's story about the cheeseburger was one of these. I feel like guy burns himself on cheeseburger
in Florida.
Guy burns himself on the best cheeseburger ever.
Emergency room overwhelmed by new Wendy's cook. Runs out of king-size catheters.
There was another employee there, a fat kid, bushy ass hair, just walking back and forth in front of the Slurpee machines. Like, he was completely lost. And all I'm wondering is, like, what the hell is going on in there?
Did they, like, build a store and then, like, just put people in it?
They build
Like,
it around the people.
Right? They just slap a uniform on them and tell them, you work here now.
You know,
and
It's
leave.
AI.
Yeah. You know, like, I do hear people are like, oh yeah, kids are way dumber now. And you don't want to be like, well, I'm sure everybody thinks that about the younger generation, but I'm like, you know, I see some shit that I think, like, maybe this time it's right.
There's been a concerted effort to make people dumber.
Yeah,
over
yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think
I think it's working.
that we're seeing the fruition of those attempts.
Yeah.
I don't point out this kid was fat to make fun of him for being fat. I pointed out because he should have been wearing like a 3X shirt and he was wearing a medium.
My man.
When you look like a damaged tube of toothpaste coming out of your shirt, it's not good. It's not good. Be big, just like
Yeah, just be aware.
wear stuff that's comfortable.
Be aware, man.
Like well, when people say own it, they don't mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going 3 for 3, our winner and new butterweight champion of the world.
Yep. Very confident in that.
Yep.
One
Dollar
successful
mini kid.
defense for me.
Do you want to hear my logic?
Go for it.
This hinges entirely on the fact that Mormonism's history is just full of people claiming to be able to do outlandish shit.
Oh, okay.
Like Joseph Smith,
Yeah,
the founder
right.
of the religion,
Right.
was a treasure hunter who would use a dowsing rod to find treasure
Yeah.
before he decided, you know where the real money is.
Yeah. Right.
And the underage pussy, which takes us back to
Right back to Florida.
Florida.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and I figured that Florida was probably because, I mean, Florida is just the hate the gays state.
Yeah,
at this point.
I thought California because that seems like something that would be out of the ordinary for California, so maybe it got a little more play.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is a very Florida thing, though, so
Yeah.
that is the safe bet.
But yeah, no, the I can dodge bullets is it just like even if you hadn't said that Utah was one of the states, I'd be like, oh, I bet that guy was fucking more.
All right, gentlemen. Time for the go-home match. It's the joke of the week.
Here, in its natural habitat, on a tiny islet off the coast of Belgium, we observe the majestic and elusive joke of the week.
Why are horse-drawn carriages so unpopular?
Because horses can't hold pencils.
Yeah, horses fucking suck at drawing.
Yeah. Yes, I got. It's been so long since I got one of those.
Joke of the week, everybody.
But you cannot fuck around with...
You're fired, Adam. You're all washed up in this business.